So in today's video, we're going to be talking about where does the social anxiety come from? Now, why is it important to figure out the origins of the social anxiety? Two reasons. The first one is that it gives you ability to get control of the problem. When you're able to pinpoint the exact experiences that caused you to develop the social anxieties that you have today, you get all the more control over it, instead of feeling like it's just this vague problem that is just pervasive and persistent throughout your entire life and you don't know where it came from. Now, the second reason is because it allows you to tailor your approach in overcoming your social anxiety. Now, before I jump right in, let me introduce myself for those who are new here. My name is Asha, and I work with people who struggle with social anxiety and avoidant personality disorder, and I give them the tools so that they can live life freely, confidently, and develop meaningful relationships with the people around them. Now, let's jump right in. So, the people who struggle with social anxiety can be divided into two categories. The first one are the people who have struggled with social anxiety all their lives, people like me. The second category are people who struggle with social anxiety after experiencing a certain event. So, let's go to the first category, people who have struggled with social anxiety all their lives. From the time you were born up until you're age 7 is when you pick up all these crucial social skills, primarily from your parents. Now, for whatever reason, people in this category did not pick up the basic social skills from their parents, and they weren't exposed to enough conducive environments in which they can interact with other children and know how to make friends, what are the things you're supposed to do and what are the things you're not supposed to do when it comes to interacting with people. As you can imagine, this ends up snowballing as you grow older when you have to experience more and more moments in which you realize you're not as socially equipped as everyone else. So people in this category need to ask themselves a few questions. Number one, what were their parents like? Are they sociable? What was your relationship with your parents? What's the first and earliest memory of making a friend you can remember? What is the first and most earliest experience you can remember where you were rejected, where you realized you were not as socially capable as other people? Now, why is this important to pinpoint those memories? Because as a kid, when you experienced them, the emotions you had and the conclusions that you developed about yourself ends up being the narrative in which you live your life. And the first step of overcoming your social anxiety is being able to undo those narratives and actually just develop the social skills that you were lacking in the first place, instead of being haunted and being attached to the narrative that we formed as a kid. Let's move on to the second category. People in the second category go through life just fine up until they hit a roadblock in which they realize, hey, I don't have the social skills to get through this. So they end up feeling rejected, they end up feeling incapable, and if people are treating them weirdly as well, they end up thinking, hey, I'm a weirdo. And what happens is they question their entire reality because they're like, hey, I was fine all along, what happened? Maybe this experience exposed me. And so what they do is they take all the conclusions they make about themselves and they now place it in their past. They look in their past and they just now paint it in that perspective. They paint it in that light. So they rewrite their history, and moving forward, they're also full of anxiety because they feel like the entire reality is questioned and they don't know how socially capable they actually are. Now, for people in this category, they need to look through the experience that caused them to feel this way and start pinpointing what social skills did you actually not have. They also need to realize that they have a tendency to rewrite the past and feel like they are much worse than they actually are because they were doing just fine up until they hit that roadblock. So people in this category tend to feel like, I just don't know anything. And what they need to do is realize they actually do have some social skills, and there are some social skills they need to pick up. Because the thing about social anxiety, guys, is that you need to be objectively analyzing the problem in order to solve it. What I would love you to do is, after watching this video, whether you're in category 1 or 2, sit down and start remembering those memories and the conclusions you made about yourself and the narratives you formed as a result. For those of you who want to overcome your social anxiety ASAP, feel free to book a free strategy call with me. We will pinpoint the problem and I will teach you how to overcome it ASAP so that you can start living life freely and confidently. I'll talk to you guys soon.